pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Central. I'm Carly. Today is Wednesday, May 28th, and today is the D-Day. Why shouldn't you write with a broken pencil? Why? Because it's pointless. Told you my jokes were good.
And action.
Pennyworth's final tally is here. The class of 2027 would like to thank every Cheektowaga Charger that donated. We raised over $160 that will be going to the Palestine Relief Fund. Way to go, Central. Join Students Against Destructive Decisions Club for a chalk walk Friday during your lunch or lunch study hall. Any questions, please see Ms. Klementowski or Mrs. Bartnick. A limited number of yearbooks are still available. See Mrs. High in room C224 to purchase. Cost is $87, cash. First come, first serve. Recently, students in Digital Writing Workshop used documentary film to explore a current event issue of their choice. Carly Gorney and Daryl Montgomery went out to explore later school start times and how that might work. Let's take a look.
Most teenagers are chronically sleep deprived. It's a fact. How many of us go to sleep really late and wake up early for school only to function off of coffee and energy drinks? Many schools have found that pushing back the school start times leads to many advantages, such as improved attendance, less tardiness, less falling asleep in class, better grades, and even fewer motor vehicle crashes. But what about those downsides that no one talks about? We would get out of school even later, so what does that mean for after-school activities? With all this said, I ask, do you think schools should have later start times?
I think it should continue to have an early start time, personally. One is I'm an early bird. I like to get my day started and get out early. But I think a lot of our students have younger siblings that they're required to get home early so they can get their younger siblings off the bus. So I think that's really important for us to continue with that early start time. The drawback is that, this is my first period class, and I do have a larger attendance issue first period than I do in all of my other classes. So, but I think if you pushed it later, I think you just have the same problem. It would just still be first period, and people are always going to be a little bit late. So I think to keep this early start time and maybe we just have stricter rules on being here on time.
20 to 28% of students reported falling asleep in school at least once a week, and more than 1 in 5 fell asleep doing homework with similar frequency.
Honestly, I would love to sleep in. I'm not gonna lie. However, when you have a later start time, that pushes back the time that we can start sports. So now as we start pushing everything back, we're staying up later anyways, because by the time you get home and you can unwind, it's later than it was before. So to me, I'm a rip the Band-Aid off kind of person. Let me just get up, start my day, and then I can have more time at the end for me. Where I feel like if all I'm doing is sleeping in, then I'm losing that time at the end to relax. You know what I'm saying?
The number of car crashes for teen drivers from 16 to 18 years of age was reduced by 70% when a Wyoming school switched start times from 7:35 to 8:55 a.m.
School start times are kind of one of those controversial issues because of the fact that Research says that teenagers function better later in the day and not in the morning, and their sleep patterns are different. The logistics come in, that's a problem, because if you start later and you let the elementary go earlier, they would get home before the high schoolers. For a lot of parents, they need the high schoolers to get home to take care of the younger siblings. The other issue is athletics. If you start later, then when do you practice? If you're practicing, you don't start practices, let's say, to 4, when do you do games? So that, and with limited facilities, that becomes a problem as well.
The percentage of students sleeping 8 hours per night was higher in those schools that had a later start time, 33% at 7:30 a.m. versus 66% at 8:55 a.m.
I don't think so. I think that if you start school later, kids are just going to go to bed later. So it doesn't actually increase the number of hours that kids are sleeping, and it also makes extracurriculars like sports or after-school stuff just more difficult.
After exploring why teachers think we should or should not have later start times, the answers are pretty clear. While there may be many benefits for the students, opinions still differ. So it's important to remember that all perspectives are valid and all school districts take into account what they think is best for the school. When we consider all viewpoints of this topic, this is how we can make a balanced change to improve the lives of individuals everywhere.
Today we're wishing a big happy birthday to Ethan Fisher. We hope you have a great birthday.
It is Wednesdays, my dudes. Today's lunch is
Breaded chicken patty on a roll.
carrots, green pepper slices, fresh fruit, and milk. He needs some milk. Then give him some milk, then.
Woo! Yeah, baby.
All you ever do was wreck me. Yo, should I try out for the musical? Like, what? I'm so glad to be back with a mic that actually works. Thanks, Mr. Malley. I missed out on like 3 days announcements. Like, that is not me. That's because the thing wasn't working, and RIP, like, all you ever do was